Everybody loves a great barbecue sauce, okay? I look at barbecue sauce as a condiment, okay?
Of course, it is a condiment.
As opposed to just like slathering on. In this case, I really want to taste the quality of the beef and then show you guys how to make a really simple barbecue sauce from 3 basic ingredients, okay? In this case, right now, it's getting a little hot. I have...
just knock it back there, yeah.
Yeah, I take some honey into the pan.
Right.
Okay. And I heat that up with a good whiskey. I like this Dickel 12.
And my husband loves the flavor of whiskey, you know, a good bourbon in anything. We make a whiskey brined wing that we put on the smoker. Oh. It's the bomb! Yeah!
But this
is just whiskey and a little honey.
Right, exactly. And you don't want to just put the whiskey in because it'll just like, you know, cook down too dry.
Right, right.
Okay, so kind of the honey gives it the sweetness. I balance it out with just a little bit of vinegar. Okay. And we cook it down, and that's when you have this. Okay,
right,
here.
right.
And then you take your favorite barbecue. You can make your own barbecue sauce like I do sometimes, but sometimes, let's face it, we don't have time.
Right.
Take your favorite barbecue sauce and then just add it to that.
So your whiskey, honey, kissing, whatever store-bought sauce you like.
Exactly.
I love to make barbecue sauce too, though, because you can use up so many other condiments.
Right.
Worcestershire, vinegar, brown sugar,
You have some peaches
ketchup.
in the fridge, half an onion, it all goes in.
Yeah, just throw it in there, and it's a great use-up of other condiments, too.
But I do like that whiskey honey kiss.
Yeah, whiskey honey kiss.
Really, you know, you get a bit of the woodiness from the whiskey, which is really nice. It gives it like a certain twang that I really like a lot. But if you do end up glazing your steak, I just want to say, because it's like a finished condiment, what I always do is I add a little bit of water to the barbecue sauce before glazing it, okay?
But I like your point about using that as the condiment. Dress the steak once it's cooked and sliced.
Right. See how it like tears also?
Right, right, right.
Well, that's actually not a bad thing, and I talk about it in one of my books. It kind of creates more surface area to brown.
Surface area for it to char up on. Yeah, right, right.
Right.
Scruffed and
yeah,
it's
so
in that. Yes,
right.
charred and scruffed.
So, like the key thing behind it, don't worry about it if it sticks a little bit. It's actually it's a good thing.
And a lot of people want to know: do they turn it once, or do you keep turning it every couple of minutes? What's the rule there?
It's a great question because I'm one of those people who say, forget the grill marks. If grill marks are there, they happen. I want to get the whole thing brown. So for me, I like to flip it often. Right. So that, you know, I'll get, I mean, it might not look like
it doesn't look like a, right, exactly. It doesn't look like a picture, but he likes to keep it evenly cooking, right?
Right, and also, so I call it the hot potato technique. You know?
The hot potato. Let's get on to this. I love this tip here. This is cool.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And it's also a great way to learn, like, how fine you should grind your, grind your spices. These are the components of chili, spelled with an I. So you basically have oregano, cumin seed.
Chili powder, it's actually a blend of spices already in the jar. When you buy something that just says chili powder, that's what this is.
Right, exactly.
Right.
When you see it with an E, that's
right.
when it's like a specific chili.
Here's ground arbol chili, or here's ground chipotle chili, or ground ancho. But this is chili with the I.
Right, exactly. So we have all these whole spices, and then what we've done already is we toast them. And what does that do? Is first you have to get the best spices that you can get.
Right.
Okay, but they're sitting there dormant, so you want to like awaken all of the spices and like actually bring out the oil. Right. So we bring them out. A lot of people just jump to the coffee grinder, and I get it. I've done it. I do it from time to time, but I have to tell you, this is a great little thing. It's just a hand crank coffee mill. Okay, right. And you just put these elements in there. There's also some dried garlic.
So what does the hand crank do that an electric one wouldn't do?
Well, it's kind of like a safety guard for not over-grinding, because sometimes if you over-grind the spice, it gets too fine.
It turns into absolute powder.
Yeah, right. and then by doing that, and you'll see these pieces here, they'll kind of drop to the bottom, and that's okay. They'll go first. But then you kind of like, with your finger,
so you have a coarser grind and a fine grind all at the same time.
Yeah, and you just kind of like, just keep poking
and then we've got some of the rub down here.
Right, exactly. Now, just so you know, the concept of this here also is like, people say, oh, I'm going to rub the steak. For me, like, I think you get a lot of flavor just from cooking rich salt and pepper, okay? Right. But here's an opportunity to kind of change up the profile. You know, you can do different combinations on this spice.
Of course, yeah. You make your own.
So, and also, it's not seasoned inside the meat, okay? So I call it a finishing salt.
You use this as the dust and the condiment rather than throwing it all on that, and it gets charred and burnt, and it doesn't end up tasting very successful. And
it's also an opportunity to actually use less salt.
Right.
Okay, because if you're seasoning it, it just kind of like gets mottled. But like when you have salt that's just like right on the outside of the meat, okay?
Right.
I look at that steak and I just want a cold beer.
My God, it's so gorgeous.
It's right on the tip of your tongue, and a lot of the juiciness that you experience from a steak, aside from it maybe being more marbled, is actually created by your own saliva.
Wow.
So like when you taste the salt up front, it actually creates a juicy effect. So it's kind of, you can kind of take it.
Very cool. Very cool.
I like it.